And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again, another day committed to being your consumer advocate. It's all about helping you understand your buying decisions here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, making you just a bit more street smart. That's our number one goal. We want to educate, entertain, enlighten, but most importantly, we want to engage with you so we can help you win in all your different buying decisions. We're talking about real estate, credit, finance, estate and tax planning, health, nutrition, and much more here that we cover on the Consumer Quarterback Show. So save our hotline number. We would love for you to reach out, and it's an off-air number, and we'll make sure we put you in touch with the best, absolute best expert contributors and show partners here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Our hotline is 813-670-7372.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
813-670-7372. That's our consumer advocate hotline. Call and text that number anytime. We'll make sure we get right back to you before our head hits the pillow. And also bookmark our website, consumerqb.com. And we would love for you to connect with us online at Brandon Rhymes1 on Instagram and Twitter, Consumer Quarterback Show page on Facebook. Please like and follow Platinum MVP Team at Keller Williams Realty on Facebook as well. And we are committed to being your real estate economist of choice, your local real estate economist of choice, buying, selling, or investing here in Tampa Bay. We would love to talk to you, and we're going to help you win when it comes to negotiation. I'm a certified negotiation expert as well, right here in Tampa Bay, and we're going to help you when it comes to buying, selling, or investing here in beautiful Tampa Bay. A couple of hot real estate properties. 3907 Carroll Pines is a property that we've got listed. It's right over there off of Waters Avenue, Del Mabry. Great location in the heart of Tampa Bay. 3907 Carroll Pines Court in Tampa. This is a great opportunity, 2-bedroom, 2-bath property, and a great opportunity for maybe a starter home or a great rental as well. If you want to check it out, that's a great opportunity to own real estate here in Tampa Bay. 6417 Yvette Drive. This is in Hudson Beach, Pasco County, waterfront on the canal. Bring your boats. 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 1-car garage. Great opportunity to live that Florida lifestyle right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. Check out all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Somewhere sunny and 75.
And we're going to give a shout out to the Children's Cancer Center. They've got an event coming up here, Ride, Restore, Refresh, Children's Cancer Center. So it's due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the Children's Cancer Center has created a new fundraising event, Ride, Restore, Refresh, and it is going to be on Sunday, June 28, 2020. 5:30 to 9 p.m. over at their location right here in Tampa, right around the corner from our radio show here at Cypress Street, 4901 West Cypress Street in Tampa. Ride, Restore, Refresh, benefiting the Children's Cancer Center and help the local nonprofit that does the most good. They do a lot of good here in the community. I had the opportunity to be the MC for their Wine, Women, and Shoes event one time. We participated in their gelatin plunge, which was a really cool, fun event to get involved with. But Children's Cancer Center does a great job here in the community. So support them on their event, Ride, Restore, Refresh, for the Children's Cancer Center, coming up on Sunday, June 28, 2020. 5:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. over at their location at 4901 West Cypress Street in Tampa. So great opportunity to get involved with the community right here in Tampa Bay. So, hey, great lineup for you today. Doug Levi, Strategic Insurance, coming in, talking about things happening in the flood. And also we have attorney Richard Alexander, TrustAlexanderLaw.com, talking about new updates. We're going to go over 3 new laws that have recently been updated and how they might impact you. Stay with us right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Check us out online at consumerqb.com. We'll be right back after this short break. Don't go anywhere.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
And we're back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here. I'm your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show and a top realtor here in the area, top real estate team, top 1% real estate team. That is the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, helping you win in your real estate deals, buying, selling, or investing, and go with the pros that know. We are a local real estate economist. We have a husband-wife team here. We are dedicated to helping our sellers profit more on the sale of their real estate properties. Now, we do that by all the innovation that Keller Williams platform provides on a national level, but also we feature our real estate listings live on air on our syndicated radio and TV show. So we've got a property here, 422 WILDWOOD Way in BELLEAIR, Florida. This is in Pinellas County, one of the most highly sought-after counties in the state of Florida. Awesome property in BELLEAIR. You're surrounded by pro-style golf courses and, of course, just minutes to the beach. Check out 422 WILDWOOD Way in BELLEAIR. 2-story home, and the owner is putting on a brand new roof as well. A great opportunity here in Tampa Bay. Now, attention business owners, 8325 West Hillsborough Avenue. This is a commercial opportunity on Hillsborough Avenue. You're getting about 40 to 50,000 vehicles driving by daily. And you've got great signage out by the front, so you can put your messaging on the front signage. And you also have a large conference room with a small kitchen, 8 offices. Great opportunity. Owners motivated to sell this asset at 8325 West Hillsborough Avenue here in beautiful Tampa Bay, one of the best Tri-City areas here in the country, the absolute best in my opinion. Reach out at platinummvpteam.kw.com. And this segment is brought to you by Replenish IV Solutions, the science of nutritional balance. Reach out to Science of Nutritional Balance, Replenish IV Solutions. They've got the Myers cocktail, vitamin infusion drips. They're going to send a nurse or a certified practitioner over to your home or office, or you can visit them in their 2 locations. One's on Gaiety Boulevard and one is in north part of Tampa off of Bears. Replenish IV Solutions. Say hello to Stephen and Lisa Gunnan. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. Take them up on those special offers. All right, we got the insurance quarterback, Mr. Doug Levi, here on the show, giving us our insurance updates. Welcome back to the show, Doug.
Brandon, always good to see you. Always good to be here. Another great day in Tampa Bay. And man, I can't believe we're rounding the corner at the end of June and July 4th right around the corner. And glad to see the economy's opening back up and things are starting to move.
Yeah, exactly. We're halfway point through the year where I wonder where most people are at with their goals. You know, they had to probably realign those goals with the whole Chinese virus outbreak and, you know, what's happening in that position. But when it comes to insurance, we see it come up from time to time. I think it's a challenging space for buyers and also sellers when it comes into, well, you know, I'm in a velocity zone, but they just changed that zone to a AE zone. There's a couple different places where that comes into play. And then we were talking offset before you had where we had one deal that was in with the bank. And they said, well, we don't want to do a private insurer. We'd rather have an alternative policy.
Yeah, so high level, again, just always trying to bring value to our consumers out there that are listening. And as the insurance quarterback, as we kind of joke here, Brandon, just things I like to share that are going on in the marketplace. So, and you were talking about that recently, having a transaction where the mortgage company was giving you a hard time. We deal with mortgage companies all the day. I know you do as well. And I'm seeing the requirements are getting more and more strict. The underwriting is getting more and more thorough, if you will, in a variety of ways. And that it can be a challenge on the insurance front. There's no doubt. I mean, we commonly see where they want copies of replacement cost estimators, valuations, all sorts of different things. It doesn't surprise me what you said about the private about the private flood insurance, the mortgage company giving a hard time on that. Again, in my opinion, if that was our account, as the agent, you got to go to bat for your client and kind of roll up your sleeves with the mortgage company. And we've done that in the past. And again, I always just like to share success stories. It's like anything else. I had a mentor tell me one time, everything in life is negotiable. I know you're a student of negotiation, Brandon, and teach that at the local realtor schools here and everything. And, there's times where you can negotiate with the mortgage company on the insurance requirements. So that, that's a tip out there. If you kind of get in a tough spot and something just doesn't smell right, you may have to just roll up your sleeves a little bit more and try and negotiate and fight for that. The other thing I'll say, just again, high level, we're seeing a lot of scrutiny. We've kind of talked about the mortgage side, but if we actually talk from the insurance carrier side, we would say we're seeing a tightening in the marketplace.
Right.
That means carrier capacity is kind of shrinking a little bit. We're seeing certain companies saying, no, we don't want to write in this zip code. We don't want to write this close to the water. We don't want to write homes that are this old. And so from a capacity standpoint, that just makes the marketplace even more challenging for buyers. And so it's classic buyer beware out there. You got to do your homework. You got to shop. Get with an agency like us where we've got access to over 25 carriers. We're going to search through and find you best coverage and best rates. If you're not doing that, you're probably overpaying.
Yeah, get that review. We always talk about that review. It's a great time to look at overall your economy, personal economy. There's a lot of distractions out there, Doug. We got these geopolitical things coming on. We've got, the Second Amendment under attack. There's a lot of things happening out there. We're tearing down statues all over the place.
Oh, man.
But what can we really do, right? What we can do is focus on our personal economy, right?
Yeah, love it. And I'll share. I know, Brandon, you're a reader. We talk sometimes about different tips or things at the end. Sometimes we do, and you're lightning round. Great book, John Miller, QBQ, Question Behind the Question. Highly recommended, Brandon, for you and your team if you haven't read it. And really, it goes to personal responsibility. Right? The QBQ, the question behind the question, basically says in any scenario, doesn't matter who did what, where, when, we don't blame. We just do what we can to take responsibility and work to solve, right? And so, at a high level, we certainly do that for the insurance front for our clients. I tell our team all the time, if we make a mistake, own it, apologize, and then see what we can do to fix it. Or if the client made a mistake, or if the carrier, no matter what,
right.
We got to constantly just keep, again, the football analogy, you got to keep moving the ball forward.
That's right.
And, so from a good news standpoint too, just kind of share. I love sharing. I know you like hearing some of this stuff too, personal successes, or not personal, but successes just in the marketplace. Had a conversation with a new potential client we're looking to bring on board right now. Is a restaurant owner, 25 years, Lake Placid, like smaller town here in Florida.
Yeah.
We're getting ready to save him about $2,000 a year on his insurance. $2,000 a year.
Wow.
With better coverage.
Wow.
Again, because we shopped. We took the time to adjust projected payroll and projected revenue based on COVID. And, this guy is driving down to meet with me tomorrow. He's over the moon excited because, $2,000 a year is $2,000 a year. So, I think we always try and bring energy and enthusiasm with our client base. And I know the heart of this radio show is that, and to serve the community and serve the consumer and be a positive force, be that force for good, as you say, Brandon. And, we want to share and let people know there are good things happening out there, right? There are wins happening, and hopefully the consumers out there, hear that.
Yeah, absolutely. We're talking with Doug Levi here, Strategic Insurance, TampaBayInsurance.com. He also has his insurance side, hustling.com as well, where if you're interested in potentially earning some extra income as part-time on the insurance side, he can help you with that. Doug, I wanted to mention here something that when you are setting your vision for your company, and something that we've done with our company, anybody, and that's the land of America. A lot of times you hear the American dream, right? Mm-hmm. To have a home, own a home, but it's also to own your own business and support local economy, local businesses. I found this that I thought was interesting for today's show. I'm just going to read it briefly. So clarity is key and focus is a must. So IBM, this is from Thomas J. Watson when he was starting IBM. It says IBM is what it is today for three special reasons. The first reason is that at the very beginning, I had a very clear picture of what the company would look like when it was finally done. You might say that I had a model in my mind of what it would look like, and when the dream, my vision, was in place. The second reason was that once I had that picture, I then asked myself how a company that looked like that would have to act. Then I created a picture of how IBM would act when it was finally done. Thomas J. Watson, your reaction?
Love it. I think it's huge. I'll go even older than Thomas J. Watson. One of my favorite proverbs from the Bible is, where there's no vision, the people will perish.
Yeah.
Right. That's right out of the book of Proverbs, written over 2,000 years ago. So I think that's spot on. I think you got to have the vision, you got to cast the vision, and then, you got to be able to put the vision into practice. I mean, we do training, and you mentioned the insurance side hustling, and we're up to 65, 70 people that have come through our program so far, which is exciting. And
wow.
We do trainings every Monday at 10:30, so we try and provide a lot of training and support. And probably like that coach you had, Brandon, I try and manage the pat on the back and the kick in the pants. And one of the things I encourage the team is saying, if it's gonna be, it's up to me, right?
Yeah.
You've got to make it happen. You've got to walk through that door. We can teach, we can train, you can show all sorts of things, but people have to take, again, that personal responsibility and then make it happen, right? And so we're big on that. And you can have all the energy and enthusiasm or ideas, but if you don't then put it into action, you're just treading water. So. And I know, again, you have similar mindsets with your team and philosophies and things. And so we're just, we're big on trying to have fun, trying to help people, and just keep moving that ball forward and teach people really good practices on that front.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So talk to us about, if there's somebody out there that's listening, that maybe they're watching our TV show version of the show, Apple TV, Amazon, or Roku, WeBeam TV, or potentially listening on, AM 860 The Answer or 102.5 The Bone. Think about it from a business, first of all, a business perspective. As you mentioned, you're able to save people money there. And then also from a homeowner that owns a home, townhome, condo, got a couple different options for your Amazon gift card challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got an Amazon gift card challenge right now where we basically give you $27 for the opportunity to, I'll put it this way, look under the hood, right? You think of the mechanic, look under the hood, and then just get a review of your current policy. And a lot of times we find gaps in coverage, and a lot of times we can save people money. So we kind of start with a market comparison. We go out to the marketplace. We shop over 25 carriers. We try and find you best rates and coverage. We'll give you an analysis and say, do you have the right protection on your home as well? I mean, there's so much focus on price, and I understand that. I don't like paying my own insurance, right? I don't know anyone that does. But it's kind of like, no one wants it until you need it, right? Until, God forbid, there's that big claim. And then it's like, oh, my goodness. You really see how important it is. And, in my time, I've been on this agency 14 years. We've had 4 or 5 clients that's homes have burned totally to the ground. Let me tell you, you see firsthand how important that coverage is. So, we'll do an analysis on the home and say, do you have the right coverage, right? Is the home properly insured? Is it overinsured? Is it underinsured? And then we show that with proof. We can kind of back that up with some of the analysis that we have and the reports that we can run, much like you probably do a market comparison, Brandon, and say, hey, the home could sell for this, or here are the comparables in the area. We try and do that for the replacement cost. So that's the other thing, that just that takeaway. And I think, like a lot of things in life, people that have lived a little bit longer, been through some things, while price is important, will probably say, you know what, I kind of want to make sure I'm not left holding the bag either. Yeah. So we really try and balance both sides of the aisle there. I tell people, and I tell our team, you want to treat your dollars like their dollars. I'm sorry, their dollars like your dollars, rather. But you also want to make those recommendations when people need to hear that. Again, real world stuff. Earlier this morning, got a referral from a business client of mine. Actually, he refers his brother to me.
Yep. And,
the brother needs some help with some auto and home review and all this. And I don't take a lot of these calls as much anymore. I mean, I normally have the team do that, but he called me on my cell phone, talking to the guy, nice young guy. And, he's an IT analyst. He travels overseas, all this kind of stuff. He had the absolute lowest limits of liability for his auto. He didn't even understand that. No one had taken the time to explain that to him, right? So, if he got into a wreck and he hurt somebody, he's only going to have $10,000 to protect himself. So, we just try to take that practical approach and say, listen, we'll quote you apples to apples. We want to get a baseline spot and see, are we competitive? Does it make sense to switch? But even if it doesn't make sense to switch, you may consider increasing your coverage so you're better protected, right? Those are the things that we look at.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Doug Levi here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And yeah, Doug, when you look at the current market conditions, I talk about this a lot with Diane Vance, Fairway Independent Mortgage, and we talk about the market and some of the misconceptions. Some people say, well, COVID-19 has affected it. The market's got to be in disarray right now. Well, the facts are, and from a local economic view, if you look at the amount of inventory that we have in the real estate market, the inventory was already low a year ago. And for Pinellas County example, it's down 997 listings year over year. So the inventory is super low. and it's causing more and more competition amongst buyers for those sellers, the properties that are available. So it's a very competitive market. And when you look at, insurance, real estate, mortgage, you want to make sure you're looking with a professional that's plugged in to the market so you're not being led astray.
Well, and again, a whole other topic I'm sure we kind of talk about, Brandon, and could get going on is don't believe everything you hear, right? I mean, if you turn on the news, depending on, and I'm a conservative evangelical Christian, I have no problem putting that out there, but depending on whatever news you're going to listen to, there's agendas. Let's not kid ourselves here, right? And so I totally agree. And I'm a big small business guy just in general. And I am a small business owner. This is my agency. This was provides for myself, my wife, and my 3 kids. And so, and I believe in small business. And I truly believe that bigger is not always better. Right. So when you can get that trusted advisor, and we try and teach our team and say, you want to be those trusted advisors to your clients, just like, hey, if I've got a real estate question, I want to be able to go and rely on Brandon because you've got your ear to the grindstone. You know what's going on, as opposed to some, I don't know, some thing you see on Twitter that says, the sky is falling and everyone's dying, or, everything's horrible, right? Or Facebook or whatever your news, wherever you're getting news from, or the handle of the, cable outlets. So, I think that's important. And, we also try to pass that on with when we get asked for referrals, whether it's home inspectors or water restoration companies, that obviously we want good referrals for our clients. And I a lot of times do believe that local small business owner that's vested in their community and really cares, I'll put them toe to toe with the big guy, and I'll always give them a fighting chance to do as good a job and good a price,
Yeah,
so.
and it circles back around to you. I really believe that if you keep things local, you do business fairly, you work with people, you give people benefit of the doubt, you work and I think now more than ever, we need to be a collaborative economy. We have to work together. Small business owners, it's the big corporations, they're getting their corporate handouts, their corporate welfare.
Right.
It really is the middle class and even lower class versus the rest of the population at this point.
Well, and you look at the research. I mean, small business is defined as, I believe, depending on how you look at it, 500 employees or less. I mean, there's most businesses in America. I think something like 80 or 90% of businesses in America, small businesses, quote unquote, have less than 10 employees, and a lot are 2 or 3, or maybe just a solopreneur where you're a one-person show. But the economic engine that provides, and that's why I absolutely believe that we are still the best country in the world, hands down, the best system in the world, hands down, for all our problems and all our challenges. I believe that there's more that unites us than divides us. And it's always encouraging to have conversations like this with you, and I'm glad we're doing it on the air because I think people need to hear that. Yeah. And, be that, I love Ronald Reagan used to say, being that light on the hill, right? And we need to, I think, kind of try and get past politics on either side of the island. And remember that, and really driving it back to the heart of the show is that small business is that engine. Yep. And it has continued to be for the last century. And while some things may shift or change, the idea of being an entrepreneur and a small business owner and starting with nothing and creating something. I have a great mentor of mine said, you can go from the poorhouse to the penthouse. Yes. Right? That idea of being a small business owner. And you see it time and time again in our country. And so I just think it's a great thing. And super excited with July 4th coming around the corner, and I hope people just feel how precious it is to live in our country.
That's right. Yep. Take a media detox from the big media, the constant negative news network, and take a media detox there and focus on what you can control. That's the key. Doug Levi, Strategic Insurance. Always a pleasure, my friend.
Great being here, Brandon.
Take care.
You guys have a great day. If I can help, let me know.
All right, buddy. Hey, you guys, reach out to Doug Levi, Strategic Insurance, for all your insurance needs. And we'll be back with more from our expert contributors. We got attorney Richard Alexander, trustalexanderlaw.com. Attorney Richard Alexander coming up. He's an educator. He's also a trial attorney. He's an attorney that actually goes into court. And that's rare to find in these days with some of the marketing folks that you see out there. Also, feel-good story of the day. Black women pay for white officers' meal, leave heartwarming notes. Stay with us. Consumer Quarterback Show. Check out consumerqb.com.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. I'm Brandon Rhymes here, your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Recently featured again in Florida Realtor Magazine, May 2020 issue. My wife and I were again featured for our innovation with radio, TV, the branding side of what we're doing, a lot of the charitable outreach with Children's Cancer Center work done, charities, things of that nature. But we'd love to help you sell your properties. We excel on the selling side. 12208 4 Oaks Road in Tampa. This is a developer's dream. Great opportunity here in Tampa Bay, close to Dale Mabry. We're waiting on professional photography to come back on this one, but 12208 4 Oaks Road. What you've got is 5 acres in the heart of Tampa, and it's zoned R9. So you get 9 units per acre, up to 9 units per acre. Great opportunity, listed over $1 million. So this is for the developers, the builders that know how to play that game at 12208 4 Oaks Road in Tampa. Also, another great development opportunity, 12500 Hamlin Road in Spring Hill, Florida. This is Pasco County. As you know, almost everything is moving north. The development is going north. 12500 Hamlin Road, 41 acres, listed at $950,000. Great opportunity to own real estate, buy, build, develop, or just have it for agriculture. Hold on to the land. Reach out, platinummvpteam.kw.com, or give us a call on the hotline at 813-670-7372. I want to give a big shout out to the Golf Cart Depot of Tampa Bay, one of our show partners and expert contributor partners on the show. Easy Go Carts. They've got the Star EV. They've got Cushman, remanufactured and pre-owned golf carts available. Check them out, golfcartdepot.com. And say hello to our friend Marty. He's the owner of the Golf Cart Depot. let them know that the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. Take them up on special offers. They've got great offers going on now, specials happening right now for the Tampa location, also Clearwater location right here in Tampa Bay. Say hello to our friends at the Golf Cart Depot and let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. All right, we got attorney Richard Alexander in studio. I love it when you come back in. You've always got these great updates to the laws and things happening out there, Richard.
Oh, thanks, Brandon. I missed this so much. I'm really happy to be back here.
Yeah, first time back in studio.
About 3 months.
Yeah,
is it?
It's
Yeah,
been a while.
No, it's been a while, man. But I love coming here. I love meeting you, meeting everybody associated with the, getting the word out. It's awesome.
Yeah, man. So we got little plastic plexiglass between us now, but hey,
The new norm.
it's a step forward. We're back in studio and making things happen. And so let's jump right into it. I appreciate you bringing these updates. Everybody's busy out there, and you're in the law. You're actually one of these trial attorneys that show up and go to court when you're allowed to. Now you can't for doing Zooms. But
yeah, the ultimate irony of that. I want to go to court and I can't.
Yeah, exactly. I'm taking you to court. Well, you got to wait for COVID.
You got to wait for everything. Yeah.
So tell us what some of the updates. What are you seeing?
Well, there were 21 bills signed into law by Governor DeSantis recently, about several days ago. I think it was on I think it was the 18th when he signed into law, which go into effect July 1st. And some of the laws are, not necessarily worth talking about. They just address some things. But the three that I wanted to bring to the attention is, first, let's start off with the little one first, is evidently now that poaching or killing black bears will be a crime in the state of Florida when you do it out of season. I didn't know this, but evidently, the gallbladder is somewhat of an aphrodisiac.
Huh.
And people were killing black bears for that, for the bile.
Wow.
And I had no idea.
Like oysters?
I didn't know it was a problem.
I didn't know it was either.
But evidently it was enough to make it a crime now in the state of Florida.
Well, let me ask you. I mean, I thought poaching was a crime. And what did they do? Up the ante on the crime?
Well, they made it a crime. So evidently before it was quite possibly a fine, a civil citation type thing. Now they'll not only file criminal charges against you, but you can also have your license revoked by the Fish-Water, Game Commission for 3 years.
Wow.
So it's pretty serious.
Fish
obviously.
and Wildlife, by the way, we had down in my hometown, one of my friends he got killed. He got murdered. He was on the job. Julian, his name's Julian. And it's all over Facebook, of course, with, Sheriff Whidden being my cousin is the sheriff of Hendry County. But speaking of, Fish and Wildlife, it made it pop up in my mind. He was, a black officer. He was actually adopted by friends of mine. Played football with them. But anyways, long story short, to the point of, these Fish and Wildlife officers are risking their lives. He walked up on somebody that he thought was doing something. They turned around, he shot him, killed him. Kid was only 30 years old.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yep. Happened down in Hendry County.
Was this recent?
Yeah, very recent. Last week. They just had the funeral yesterday or the day before.
Yeah, they don't get a lot of press, and that's probably to their credit, but they are certified law enforcement officers. Yeah. In the state of Florida. So, wow. I didn't know.
So Fish and Wildlife can't kill black bear.
Wow.
Shouldn't kill them.
Yeah. The other one was they actually upped the fine to passing a school bus from $200 to $400. What I thought was interesting about that is there was some pushback about, don't you think we're finding these people a little excessively? Mm-hmm. And the ultimate answer was it's $400 versus the value of your child.
Yeah, I got a kid here that might want to cross the road.
Right. So what do you think?
Yeah, it's challenging. That's crazy. And then Jordan's Law you mentioned too.
Yeah, Jordan's Law was in the Florida House and the Florida Senate for a couple of years. I don't know if anybody knows about this, but it was this little boy named Jordan, 2-year-old. And he was in foster care at the time. And he was doing very well in foster care. And at some point, they released him back to his biological mother. Mm-hmm. And turns out that she was arrested for the murder of the little boy. Mm. And, what came out of that was they found out that the system, the foster care system, it was just bankrupt. And what they wanted to do was, and I got to give credit to the people that were involved at the Florida House and the Florida Senate for pushing this because they wouldn't let go of it. There wasn't a lot of, positive response to getting this done. But at the end of the day, the Florida House was 113-0, and the Florida Senate was 40-0. Wow. So it was unanimously passed successfully. And what it does is, it addresses the one thing that was being the most problematic, in that caseworkers were getting paid $17 an hour, and they were responsible for 30 kids. I mean, it's insane.
Wow.
And so they cut that down to 15.
Right.
And they also, what they did was they actually opened up the lines of communication between, the Division of Family and Children and law enforcement, because a lot of times they just weren't communicating.
Wow.
And which leads to putting the child back in the home where he shouldn't be.
Yeah.
So, those were two of the things they did. Another thing they did was also implement more training and technique and protocol, procedure to get everybody on board to see, so this doesn't happen again.
Yeah, but training is definitely something
Absolutely.
that needs to be done, especially on the police side. They're talking about defund police,
Right.
sheriff's deputies, these people that are defending us. We call them. It's we take it for granted. If we have some kind of altercation or somebody breaks into our house, we call them. They come and they put their lives on the line. But training is one thing I think should be added and implemented. Let me go back to Julian's Law real quick, because that was the story. Jordan's Law. That was where the kid actually was drowned by his mother, right?
I don't know. I didn't see that in the medical examiner's report. I remember something like that, but if you read the medical examiner's report, this kid was viciously beaten.
Oh.
I mean, it's a really tough report to get through. I can imagine that he's going to be, the star witness from the prosecutor's office.
Wow.
Because the ME report, if you read it, the kid was just, contusions.
So he didn't
contusions. He did die.
Oh, he did die.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. Oh,
Got
yeah.
it.
The mother's been charged with murder.
Okay, got it.
And the ME report is really graphic.
Yeah.
To think that this happened to a little boy,
Unbelievable.
a 2-year-old. Yeah.
We're talking with Richard Alexander, Alexander Law, trustalexanderlaw.com. Richard Alexander here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, longtime friend of the program and legal analyst here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. So yeah, something else, Tampa police ambushed. It's one thing when we read all this craziness, we're tearing statues down across the country of, people that are on Mount Rushmore, And when it happens right here in Tampa Bay, here's a quick, we don't have time to cover the whole story, but Tampa Police Chief Brian Dugan says his officers were ambushed this weekend when they responded to a call of a shooting near 15th Street and 26th Avenue. Dugan said when his police officer arrived early Sunday morning, they did not locate the shooting victim, and instead they encountered people throwing glass bottles at them.
Yeah, the bad part about that is if they get a call, cops are going to come. You know that.
Yep.
And because it's what they do. It's who they are. And they deliberately call them out in order to set them up.
Unbelievable.
And that's really the bad part about it, because they'll come out again.
It's so sickening. Yeah. And as he quoted, it said, "Nobody has our backs right now. I'm very concerned. You never know when a crowd is going to turn on you. There's an element out there that our officers have never had to deal with before."
That's true. That's actually, that was the chief of police that said that. Yep. He said this is an element that we've never had to deal with. And yeah, it's brand new, obviously, and they're going to have to find some way to deal with it. Because what I remember, they called out every cop that was on duty, which was approximately 100 Tampa PD officers that responded to the scene.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they were, trying to counter that attack somehow.
And that's the only way you can do it, is with a show of force.
Wow. Yeah, they need to investigate this and get to the bottom of it. Who's actually behind it? You hear the stories of Soros or whoever. It's unbelievable. And then you see the pallets of bricks that are left at these places, and they're killing people's businesses and causing a lot of harm. But so locally here, local attorney again, we talk about work with the local community, collaboration amongst the community, small businesses. You're a small business owner, Richard.
Correct. Yeah, I am.
So people need to support local businesses, local attorneys. What kind of client are you looking for right now?
Well, like I always say, that the people that come to see me are going through something in their lives. They've either been involved, in a motor vehicle accident, because we do personal injury,
yep.
And or they've been recently arrested. So, unfortunately, I've chosen the discipline of law that when I see people, they're not always at their best.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, everybody wants the same thing. They just want to be told that everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the counselor at law comes in, where sometimes people just want somebody to listen.
Good point.
And just tell them that, listen, everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And
we're going to work through it.
I'm a big believer in that.
Yeah, we're going to work through it. Take it one day at a time. I've heard it said also that whenever something bad happens, something negative, Tony Robbins, says loss, less, or never. Whenever you think about loss, less, or never, something happening, you may have messed up a relationship, something changed here, is that it's always worse right when it happens. And then, it's funny how a week later, 30 days later, it's not quite as bad as we thought it was. So we have a tendency as human beings to overreact in the moment and allow ourselves to kind of get sucked into that and focus on the wrong thing.
Yeah, I think in a nutshell, you're talking about perspective.
Yeah.
Look, I learned something in college a long time ago, and I'll never forget. It was a Psych 101 class, and the teacher was going over, how to address things that happen in your life, negative things. He says, if you can assign a point system to it,
yeah.
He says, you'll be much better. He says, what's the worst thing that you think could happen?
Interesting.
What would you give 100 points to?
Right.
On a scale of 1 to 100.
Right.
And we all came to the same conclusion, the parent losing a child.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then after that, maybe loss of a spouse.
Yeah.
But says if you can't get up to near that scale, it's going to be okay.
Exactly.
So
yeah, and what you focus on expands. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. So if you're focusing on negativity, you're focusing on fear, and unfortunately today we're being attacked by a lot of the constant negative news networks and some of these people. So that's why I say take a media detox on a lot of your TV stations and things of that nature as well.
No, I love that media detox.
That's right.
I love that.
More from attorney Richard Alexander. Stay with us. We're going to jump into more of his maybe some personal stories of where he's helped people, different things he's done in the community. And also we have a feel-good story of the day. Black women pay for white officer's meal, leave heartwarming note, right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here. We really appreciate you hanging in there with us and watching the show, supporting our local area business expert contributors. ConsumerQB.com is the website. You can see links there to all of our expert contributors. And what we do is we bring in 40 to 50 plus show partners, 80 different categories, consumer advocate content and advice right here daily to serve the community as a consumer advocate. So we appreciate you supporting our show partners. And of course, all big thanks out to, all the men and women that are fighting this COVID-19, the Chinese virus here, the frontline workers. We're offering real estate discounts. Anybody out there that's in the, military, first responders, nurses, teachers, any type of, frontline workers, we're taking extra care of you on the real estate side, offering discounts from our team at Platinum, MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. A couple of hot listings here, 6417 YVETTE Drive. This one's up in Hudson Beach. It's right on the water, deep water canal, 6417 YVETTE Drive in Hudson. 2-bedroom, 2-bath, great opportunity to own Florida lifestyle at its best. Hudson Beach Estates, deep saltwater canal, and direct access out into the beautiful Gulf of Mexico. A couple of hot listings here in Tampa Bay. Also, 520 George Street South. We got 520 George Street South here in Tampa Bay. This is a waterfront property, Tarpon Springs on Lake Tarpon. $500,000, just less than $500, $496 price point. Bring your boat, bring your jet skis, stand-up paddle boards, fish from your dock. Gorgeous lakefront home on Lake Tarpon, which is a 2,500-acre lake, huge lake right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. Check out all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Somewhere sunny and 75.
All right, every day we're going to tell you something good here in our feel-good story of the day. We're going to tell you something good.
Tell me something good.
All right, so a Tennessee sheriff's deputy is feeling thankful after 2 strangers paid for his meal and left him a heartwarming note. Jody McDowell said he was dining at a Cracker Barrel in Nashville when he learned that 2 black women covered his meal for him. Quote, I want to thank the 2 sweet black ladies who paid for my breakfast this morning, end quote. McDonald wrote on Facebook. He also shared a photo of a note and the women left behind that read, quote, BLM, so does yours. Thank you for your service. Breakfast paid. The deputy's post has received more than 3,400 likes. And what an awesome story, man. I love those feel-good stories. Richard Alexander here in studio. You got a reaction on that one?
Yeah, that's, listen, you always talk about it is passing kindness, random acts of kindness. You always talk about it. I think you end your show all the time with it, and that's what that's about.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's about regular, ordinary people. The media, the liberal, whoever you want to say does it, right? They're going to spread these stories. They're going to try to separate us. But really, on a one-on-one basis, when you're dealing with your average, company that you're working with, could be a plumber, could be people you see at a restaurant, racism is not as bad as they want to make it seem. People.
The word that they always put in front of racism is systemic.
Yeah.
And systemic means, all encompassing everywhere, no matter where you look. And I just firmly believe it's not that.
Yeah. System, when you're looking at the challenges that we see as a country, how much nicer, easier would it be if we didn't take these isolated events by isolated small number, minority of the people, the one bad cop in the whole precinct, whatever, and blow it up, and let's make this big deal about it. Let's have these protests. Let's, have windows fire started and people, losing their businesses, and then you got the COVID-19. COVID-19, again, a lot of fake numbers, a lot of fake news reports on, how many actual cases. I listened to a Tony Robbins podcast where he brought on a Nobel Peace Prize winning doctor, and the conversation was a lot different than you find in the mainstream media. That's for sure.
No, I completely agree. You have as much the odds of you contracting COVID as you do hitting the lottery. Yeah. And actually, my wife's going to take our son in today to get tested. He's 11. Yeah. I said, he has less than 1% chance of getting it.
Wow.
Because at that age, I don't know what it is about that age, but they have, it's an astronomical number that they could get it.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. You would think that age would be more susceptible.
Yeah.
Because they haven't really built up their immune system, but they're like 0.0008 of contracting it.
Right.
Which is a ridiculous number.
It really is.
Yeah. I said, no, if it makes you feel better, go.
Yeah. And how many people die every year of the regular flu?
The flu, yeah. Evidently, the flu's been cured though.
Yeah.
Right? Because you don't hear about it anymore.
Yeah. What happened to the flu?
No, it's gone away. Yeah.
What happened to social distancing? As long as you're protesting, it's okay.
And the other thing is there is no vaccine for the flu.
Right.
For influenza.
Right.
What they do is give you the flu when you get a flu shot.
Right.
They give you a small amount of it so your body builds up the immunity to it.
Exactly.
But there is no vaccine. I keep thinking maybe we're just going to have to live with this because they won't develop a vaccine for COVID. But we'll see.
It's interesting. We're talking with attorney Richard Alexander here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Richard Alexander Law, trustalexanderlaw.com. And we talked a little bit about a success story. Can you give us a success story?
Well, it's a minor one. It was a traffic offense, but I always think about justice. One of my favorite movies is Philadelphia. Remember with Tom Hanks and Denzel Washington, and when he's doing direct examination of Tom Hanks on the stand, he says, what do you like best about being a lawyer? And he says, well, sometimes, it doesn't happen often, but sometimes justice is done. And that really is a great feeling.
Yeah.
And it was a traffic case. It was no big deal.
Yeah.
But what happened was it was an accident case, and so you have to go up in front of a county judge in the state of Florida, not a magistrate. And the law enforcement officer shows up, and he's in his civvies, and he comes to court with a video. Mm-hmm. A video of evidently the gas station across the street that caught the whole thing on evidence,
mm-hmm.
on video, excuse me. And, you know, he comes in and he wants to start talking about what's on the video. Mm-hmm. And then he wants to introduce the video into evidence. Mm-hmm. And so just rules of evidence, rules of procedure. I objected. You know, he can't talk about the video because, you know, a hearsay rule. He can't get the video into evidence because he's not the witness to do it. You'd have to have somebody from the gas station. Again, these are just rules of evidence. But because I knew that, justice was served and the ticket was dismissed. You know, it's a small thing, but we get outside the courtroom. Now, this was completely unexpected to me.
Right.
Law enforcement officer tracks me down as I'm walking out of the courtroom.
Yeah.
And he taps me on the shoulder and says, "How do you feel knowing your client got away with it?"
Huh.
And I just said to him, "Justice was served."
Right.
And I said, "Let's get out of here." And I told my client, "Let's leave."
Wow.
You know, but
that's a little weird that he would approach you.
I've never had that happen in 23 years of practice.
Yeah.
Never.
Huh.
But to me, this was somebody that had an agenda.
Right.
And he wanted my client to go down. Again, it was just a simple accident case,
mm-hmm.
but he had an agenda. And anybody else, it might have been a whole different story.
Yeah. So I think you would have to introduce that where you could review it first. Right, and then it's allowed or something like that?
Well, you'd have to have the witness who can actually verify as to the veracity of the video, and then get it in like a custodian of records.
Ah, okay.
Somebody just can't come in and say, "Oh, by the way, this is what it is because I say so."
Right, right.
For instance, you could not get your driver's license into evidence. You'd have to have somebody from the DMV that is familiar with how driver's licenses are made, and and looks at yours and says, "Yes, that's an actual Florida driver's license."
Interesting.
So it's just an example. It has to be the right person to get in a piece of evidence.
Yeah, yeah. We were talking about an interview we did a couple weeks ago with Matthew Cox. He was the fraudster and doing a lot of radio and TV now and podcasts and writing a book, of course. But he committed $55 million worth of fraud right here in Tampa Bay. A lot of it was right here in Tampa Bay. Some was in Tennessee, but he had was buying what they use straw buyers. You know, familiar with that term? It's a fake buyer. They were recording false deeds and mortgages, but a lot of times they would use a California ID because people in Florida probably don't recognize what a Florida or California ID should look like.
Right.
So speaking about, you know, IDs and how that comes into play, but yeah.
You know, it's funny. We were just talking about the Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
And Jordan Belfort called straw man rat holes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was the same thing. It was just getting somebody else to hold the money, you know, but it was his money.
Oh,
you know, but yeah, he called them rat holes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. So we have about a minute left here, 45 seconds or so. Give us a top tip, nugget of advice, parting words of wisdom.
Well, the one thing I always talk about is knowledge is power. I know I'm an educator. I've been an educator for 20 years. And I believe, I tell people all the time, listen, it doesn't matter what you think as long as you educated yourself on your opinion.
Right.
You know, a feeling versus facts, you know, then you can form an opinion based on the facts. But I tell people all the time, listen, knowledge is power. Get educated. I would say the same thing about voting. I don't care who you vote for. Just get educated on the topics.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'll raise taxes on ourselves twice.
And we did that last time.
Hillsborough County, absolutely.
We just did.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Unbelievable. Well, hey, thanks for coming in, Richard. We appreciate it. Support Richard Alexander, Richard Alexander Law, trustalexanderlaw.com. And we want to thank you for tuning into the show. Thanks to Doug Levi as well, Strategic Insurance, and all of our listeners, viewers, our TV show, our producers out there. Appreciate you. And we'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. But first, please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Donate some time, donate some blood, swing a hammer for Habitat for Humanity. Do something kind for someone else. We'll see you next time. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time